Alright guys, I've been putting in some work on this gauge cluster here. I really like the way it's turning out. On the back here, I've got you've got your positive wiring running to the lights. So these will just control the lights for like at night. So the lights will turn on. So you've got your positive wires here, the whites. They are all connected, done really cleanly too. Like it's just nice and clean. And then I brought it out to a 1 spade connector here, female. And then on the negative side, I did the same thing. And brought it all out to another spade connector, but this is a male. And the reason why I did the opposites are just so when you're plugging them in at any time, if you have to take them out, put them in, you don't get the positive and negative mixed up. Although on something like this, I don't believe it matters. It should just be either or, but just in case we ever ran something else off of this, tapped into the wire, because it will be switched wire. So whenever I turn the running lights or headlights on, this is going to turn on. So that's kind of that. So over here, so if you look, you've got your voltage. That one, there's just one positive terminal. That's where it's going to get its voltage from, the alternator. So that will let you know, what you're at. So I just need to run that one, and then over here for the fuel gauge, you've got the sending unit, which runs from the from the fuel tank, and then a positive wire. I think that may run from the fuel tank too. I'm a little not quite sure at how to wire that all up. But then that brings us to, you've got oil pressure, water temp, and boost. So your oil pressure, which is right here, has got this little clear hose. So that will run through here, and I'll probably run it to right here. That's a very easy port to do. And then your boost over here works the same way. And I'll probably run that to possibly the intake horn right here, maybe down low somewhere over here, and then just run it through the firewall right there, because there is a spot for that. And then that brings us to the water temperature, which is right here. And then you've got this fitting, and this goes in and then screws down, and this is what reads your temperature. So I could potentially go off of like right here, possibly even like right here, or possibly back here there's another port that I could potentially get it from. I could probably run it up to the radiator when that comes in, but the farther back I push it, the cleaner it will look. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Ideally, if I could plug it into like one of these ports right here, then that would make it really clean. It does come with like some adapter fittings to make, smaller holes bigger and bigger holes smaller, that kind of deal. So I probably would need to use an adapter right there, but that may be the best spot to, you know, pop a temperature sensor in. Be pretty straightforward and easy. So, this is kind of actually fun. I don't really care for wiring, but when it's easy like this and really clean, it really makes it fun. And let me grab my little probe here and I will show you guys. Alright guys, so this power probe, definitely if you're doing any electrical, I recommend getting one. I've used it a ton on this project and on my B3000 project when I did that swap too. But you just give some power and you can see the gauges light up. So super stoked about that. It just hooks up to your battery, and then you've got a long cord and you can give stuff power. It's got a ground cable here that you can, you know, use for ground and stuff like that. Super sweet. Alright guys, so now I am just going to focus now on kind of installing it, and then at this point we will attach the gauges up to the running lights and then start mounting up the boost gauge and stuff like that. And then I may start working on the intercooler piping. Even though I don't have the radiator, I may just, I've got these little U's that will slip on here, and then I can probably, I may try to go, it's going to be tight. I probably will try to go like over here, but I'm going to have to keep it pretty low so I don't run into the hood, because you got to remember the hood kind of follows this line. Obviously it sits above the line, but it kind of follows that landscape. So I may have to bend these lines down more and kind of sit it over here and then come around like this. But in any case, I'm gonna get working on that. So I'm about to call it a night for tonight, but I did hook up the positive from the alternator to the battery, so that should be good. I did start the Jeep and it's still not charging, so I'm not sure exactly how to wire up this system. So the alternator could be bad. In other words, I bought it off of eBay. I'm hoping the alternator is not bad, because if it is, I've wasted, you know, some money there. And I probably should have just bought brand new, but I was trying to save money. Sometimes it doesn't pay. So either the alternator's bad or I've got something screwed up on the wiring. It could be my wiring, so I need to dig more into that as I have time, tomorrow sometime. But I did get the dash kind of in place here and the wires cleaned up underneath. You can't really see, but I'll go ahead and hit the lights, and now you can see the gauges hooked up. My oil pressure, I have the oil pressure and the boost and the water all hooked up. So I should have these three, and then this one, the volts, I have the wire ran down here through here. So this is kind of how I did it. I came out of the firewall right here, ran everything over, It comes down here. You can see the temperature sensor for the coolant water. And then as we come down farther, I had some of this leftover heat shield. And since we're so close to the manifold, I decided to use that right here. And you can see the oil pressure goes right here down into there, and that does work. I did confirm. I started the truck and the Jeep, and we have oil pressure. And then you can see the boost line comes out right here, and then ties right into here for boost. That's not going to read anything right now because we're obviously not building boost and it's not hooked up. And then, last but not least, we've got our alternator, our volts wire that goes to the alternator. So I haven't wired that in yet, but let's hope tomorrow the radiator gets here so we can finish this thing up and hopefully give it a little test drive. Everything should be good to go on this thing. When you turn the key, you can hear the fuel pump kick on. So literally everything is ready to go. I'm not going to start it because it's kind of laid out right now, but yeah, super stoked. We will see you guys tomorrow sometime. We are making some heavy progress this evening. One of the things that I finally got straightened out was the charging for the alternator. It kicked my butt big time. I'll tell you what I first started out with was this little system right here. You take apart the alternator, the back cap off, and then you hook this up, and it's supposed to get rid of the ECU side of things, and you're supposed to be able to just have a one wire alternator. I wired it up wrong the first time and tried, so I don't know if that fried something in here, but I could never get this to work for my particular use. So I'm not saying it doesn't work because I did hook it up wrong. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. So what I ended up doing was buying this external regulator, voltage regulator. The 91, I know it's on the 91 Cummins, the first gens. They have this. I know on the 91 first gen Cummins they have these particular deals right here. So I ran it. It's really easy. You got just a green and a blue, and the green goes on the bottom terminal, the blue on the top, and then you get a switched 12 volt power to the top terminal as well. And so what's happening, I tried this, got rid of it. So this is the part number somewhere on here. This is the part number for the voltage regulator. You can see that. And then the part number for the, right there, this is the part number for the pigtail, which is this wiring that unplugs like that. So this is separate. Excuse me. So, but you will probably want to buy that if you go this route. So in the trash with that. But Now it charges up when you start it. So I'll show you guys. So if I hit the lights on here, I'll show you guys. You've got your voltage meter here, which is plugged into the battery still. But let's do this. We'll go ahead and crank it on. So hopefully you could see that when the Jeep is on, it turns on. So this is the lead coming that is going to the voltmeter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this down the lead and run it to a fused switch wire. So only it'll read voltage when the key is turned on. That's the way I'm gonna do it. That'll be super easy. I've got everything hooked up as far as oil pressure, temperature sensor, and boost. And I'll show you where I accessed everything. Right here is your oil pressure. I ran off of there. Right back here, I'm running the temperature sensor, and right here, I'm running my boost. So that's kind of the setup we have. And so I did drive this today. I backed it out of the garage, and I actually drove it around the yard. It was not charging, so it was running pretty rough as far as I think the fuel pump couldn't keep up. It just wasn't giving enough voltage for fuel. I think that's what it was. But anyways, we did that. It ran pretty good, for not having any intercooler piping in. And I have sad news. Today is Saturday night, and the radiator was supposed to be here on Friday. Anyways, it's not going to be here. I thought it was coming today. It said it was, and then it said it's not going to be here till. So I literally cannot drive this thing on the road until Monday, and it probably won't even be till Tuesday, or maybe even the weekend. I don't know, but I was hoping to have it running this weekend, and I just can't because the radiator's not in. So it will give me time to finish up the last little bit of wiring as far as that goes, but I did put the driver's seat in and I drove it around. I think the clutch pedal, the slave, I think we're running into some issues there. It will go into gear, but it's almost like the clutch is not engaging enough because it doesn't really want to go in, but I can force it in. And so I don't like that, so I may need to figure something out on that front as well. But enough talking. Alright guys, I pulled a little switcheroo on you as I had just spoken up about the intercooler piping. I got a little antsy and decided to go a different route for right now, and this will at least get me driving, and I won't have to worry about doing the piping. So this is kind of what I came up with for right now. Rotated, like clocked the compressor housing around this way, and then it pretty much comes right on top of the valve cover, and then it loops around. A little messy here, not for optimal flow, but it will do the job fine. It's 3-inch piping, so you can see it's neck down to like 2-inch or something right here. So 3-inch will be perfectly fine. So yeah, that is the quick step. And when I powder coat this, it'll blend all in and look a lot better. But totally, actually really like it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like this for long, but at least for the immediate future, as far as getting this thing drivable, it's gonna work out just perfect, really. No other way around it. So tomorrow what I'm gonna do is I need to hook up the boost gauge because now it's moved, so I need to get some more vacuum line and hook up the boost gauge to right here. So I'm gonna rotate, if I can find it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rotate this. Actually, we'll go one more because I already kind of loosened it up a little bit. But all right, yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll run my vacuum line over the top. I just don't want it close to the manifold. I don't have any more of this sleeving left, so I'll just run it over here, and we will meet up down here, and that will be perfect. Maybe zip tie it to the oil feed line. And then the only other thing which I meant to do, but I forgot, this is another vacuum line that runs from the P pump, and that runs to the intake as well. I think what I'm going to do is just tap a fitting into here. That will pretty much just, some more vacuum hose will run up and right into the bottom side. But I'm gonna have to take this back off to do that. And I don't feel like doing that tonight. I'm gonna go to bed. Monday, the radiator gets here. What is up, you guys? It has been a while. Actually, a couple days since I videoed, so I'm kind of jumping in. But I got the radiator in, and it is out of I think it's a 66 Mustang. Anyways, fans, everything is plumbed in and working. The alternator charging. I broke a ground. This is my main ground cable, so gonna have to figure that out. But here it is. And let me tell you, this thing drives pretty good. So I'd say that we are done with the whole the hard work, the trans. I did some work on the trans, but as you can see, got the intake piping kind of temporarily in there, and took it for a test drive. Every time I get home from work and then I finish something on it, and by the time I go to take it for a test drive, it's dark again. So it's kind of frustrating, just because the daytime it's a lot easier to do things. But we are indeed getting dialed in. I think tomorrow, if I wanted to, I could definitely drive this to work. I feel confident that it's not gonna leave me stranded. So it's cooling fine. I hooked up the fan backwards. The kit I got was really vague and weird about how you hook it up. So I did indeed get that working. And the only reason my battery cable broke is because I didn't strap my battery back, and it slid forward like this and just snapped. In this video, we got the Jeep driving. I can drive it down the road. And what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna wait for the next video to tell you guys, give you an overview of everything, because this video is getting kind of long. So in the next video, I will be doing an upload or an explanation of as far as what all we did from front to back to get this thing on the road. It's going to be a cool video, especially if you are interested in doing this or are in the middle of doing this. I will try to cover as much of the details as far as what I had to do to make it work. And look forward to that one because it's going to be a good one. But I will catch you guys in the next upload. Keep grinding, and I will see you. Peace.